the Young Turks' 14 years.
Hello and welcome to India's longest running show on entrepreneurship. I'm Shireen Bhan. Team Young Turks is all set for our annual summit. We're celebrating 15 years of India's longest running show on startups at a glittering ceremony in the capital on the 28th of June. It's a day-long celebration that brings together founders, thought leaders and startup ecosystem enablers from the government and outside. So stay tuned for that and more. But let's start today's episode. Here's a look at what we have lined up for you. A Silicon Valley-based company is betting on native advertising. The story of Dhawal Mujumdar's AdsNative. A restaurant booking app that's taking on Zomato. The story of Easy Diner. And tech partners Ravi Adusumalli on whether we really are in the midst of a harsh winter and his top bets for 2016. Now, have you ever been bothered by pop-ups while browsing a mobile website and added ad blockers to your web launcher? Well, if your answer is an emphatic yes, then our first guest, Dhawal Mujumdar, Silicon Valley-based startup AdsNative, can come to your rescue. Now, this isn't another ad blocking software, but instead this startup helps companies create visually integrated ads that blend with the existing content and better engage consumers. Having roped in over 5,000 sites and apps, AdsNative has currently fixed its focus on North American clients. So far, this startup has received $10.5 million in funding. Let's take a look at the AdsNative story.
Before we tell you about AdsNative, let's first look at what native advertising means. Native advertising is a type of disguised advertising, usually online, that matches the form and function of the platform upon which it appears.
I think particularly on mobile phones, where like our existing ad tech ecosystem, if you think like what we call display ads or the banner ads, they are not fit for the smaller screens. So for that, like I think for mobile, we are moving towards native ads where ads look and behave like rest of their content. All the existing ad tech system where like the display ads are somewhat interruptive. They interrupt the user experience of an application. So what we are looking for, like trying to design an ad experience that fits into the fabric of the application. So my background in interaction design and user experience, which we as a whole team are extremely passionate about, like how do we make ads really nice, easy to use so that users are not interrupted by that.
Having delivered over 6 billion ads through their platform since inception, 31-year-old Dhawal Mujumdar says that the team stumbled upon the idea and it was nothing less than a happy coincidence.
I was a grad student at University of California at Berkeley, and one of the things that I was doing in terms of like me and my co-founders in terms of research was like how we can improve the advertising. I think the fundamental problem with advertising at that moment was like the ads were interruptive. We have seen the rise of ad blockers for the same issue. I think a bad ad is always bad, but ad may not be bad. It's not that we hate advertising. It's that like we hate really bad ads and the interruptive ads. So we were just doing research around like how we can improve ad tech, how we can improve the ads ecosystem. So that was our research project. Our advisors, some of our professors, they were very helpful, and they told us like, hey, this is something you have pretty interesting at your hands, and you should get started as a company and see how it goes.
And that's how AdsNative was born in the most happening spot for startups, Silicon Valley. Today, this 30-people strong team has offices in San Francisco, New York City, and Bangalore.
I think one advantage being in Silicon Valley for us is like the ethos of Silicon Valleys are kind of imbued in us, where like focus on innovations and growth will follow. I think in a way, the way Silicon Valley works is you need not focus on immediate revenue right away. Focus on doing great things for your customers, solving their problems, focus on innovation, and all the other things, be it growth, revenue, they will all follow. So we always focus on innovation, even though we might get some advantages or like some small wins in the short term. What we are looking towards is the long-term win here.
And who are the investors backing this win? The team has so far raised $11 million in Series A round of funding from Rakuten Ventures, Interwest Partners, and Onset Ventures. Under its hood, AdsNative today has clients like Reuters, ABC News, the Seattle Times, to name a few. How did they manage to rope in these biggies? Well, here's Dhawal's pitch.
our story for everyone, like be it investors or our team members or any of our partners, is the same. I think advertising as a market is huge. If you think like digital advertising is almost $300 billion, as they say that like advertising follows the eyeballs. As we are using all these like technology enabled devices, be it your smartphones, your laptops, televisions or internet connected devices, anything like what we call the IoTs. So everywhere the eyeballs are there, and the ads are going to move from the analog or the traditional medium there. So we have much bigger market cap in front of us. What we are looking for, quite frankly, in advertising, like there are few like market leaders that capture majority of the market share. So we are also looking towards that. I think a success for us would be like an independent company that's, I think, in a public market with like several $100 billion of revenues or profits. So that should be our like measure of success at least. And while doing that, like we are solving that pain for our customers in terms of like making the monetization really easy.
But we had to ask Dhawal where AdsNative stacks up vis-a-vis ad networks like Facebook, Google and InMobi. And then of course entrenched players like the Valley-based PubMatic that has been around since 2006.
We are pure technology company, so ad networks are not exactly we are competing against, like ad networks like be it InMobi or AdMob, we are not competing against them. They are our partners, whereas like we are competing against other technology companies. It could be, as you mentioned, that like PubMatic, and there are several others in that. But since we were very early in the game, we have most extensive tools in terms of our technology offering. That itself gives us a significant lead, and we have several marquee customers using us, so that also gives us the validation, and we are of course like always improving. So for other players to catch up to us, I think it's going to be quite a task.
With this belief in mind, Team AdsNative is now looking to expand its scope beyond North America and looking to target Western Europe, India and China in the coming years.
Dhawal, here's wishing you and the team the very best for your ambitious targets. It's time now for a break here on Young Tech. But on the other side, we find out how you can discover and book a table at a restaurant with a simple click using Easy Diner. Stay tuned.
The Young Turks' 14 years